Hey everybody, hope everything's coming through. Sound, it's looking good. Hope everyone's doing well today. Let me just double check if everything's looking good. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. All right. I think we are live. I'm looking very orange because my light is a little bit orange. Let me just see if I can. Ooh, that's even worse. Oh no, that's too bright. Okay, I think that's fine. A little bit orange today, but who cares? So, what are we going to do today? So, I am starting work on a little cartoon series that I want to do in Blender. Just a little sci-fi cartoon. So, yeah, lots to model, lots to do. So, hey NSK KSN, thank you for that message. Is the audio coming through nice as well? Hope everything is looking and sounding good. So yeah, I'm just I decided I'm gonna do like a little cartoon animation thing in Blender. Maybe it's gonna be, I first thought I'm gonna make like a short film, but cool, thank you for that. But yeah, I decided I am probably going to do a series. Slow, so like very short episodes, probably like, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes per episode. And yeah, just like a little personal project that I can work on. So I hope everyone is nice and comfortable. And let's get started. So let's jump into Blender. And for the first model, let me just get comfortable here. Okay, I think I've got everything set up right now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna split my view here, just a little horizontal split. This is usually where I bring in my reference images. And then I just change this to image editor. And then we're going to open our reference. Where did I put this? Oh yeah, I did add them in here. So I'm just going to open this PNG. Okay, so as you can see, this is a little telescope. So just a little reference of a little cartoon telescope that I'm going to make. So this is one of the things that I need. Yeah, I haven't really finished writing the script even yet. But yeah, I'm going to kind of start modeling some of the things that I need as I write the script. So I know I'm going to need some sort of telescope. So yeah, this is just references. It's not going to be exactly the same, kind of just so that I know, just to kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. So let's begin. Always delete all the things in the scene. And yeah, so with this little thing, let's start with, and it's all going to be very like cartoony vibes. So it's not going to be like perfect. It's going to be a little skew, a little janky, a little cartoony. Yeah, that's the plan. So let's begin with a little cylinder. And we can probably scale this down. So that's kind of this middle platform section. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball the size and the shapes and everything like that. So yeah. So let's apply this thing's scale quickly. It's always a good idea. And then we can probably start modeling. How's everyone doing today? Hope you guys are having a nice weekend. Alright, so let's do a little inset here. Like so. And then we're just going to bring this up. And let's bevel that edge. Well, I'm not going to bevel it right now. So let's do another inset first. Okay, so that's kind of this part that I'm busy with. And then we can kind of take this up like so. And I'm going to do another extrusion. I'll show you guys now why I'm doing this. So I'm looking at this little arm that's kind of holding the telescope up. So, or this little swivel. So let's have a look at this from the front. And I'm just going to look through this, enable X-ray. And then I'm going to select these two faces on either side. So it's basically that side and this side. Okay, I don't think that's exactly what I want to do. Blum, 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 blum. Let me just think here. We kind of need to bring it out. Okay, let's try this. If I GG this, just slide this up. Let's have a look from the front again. X-ray is on. So now I'll probably take these 4 on each side and not this middle one, like that. Yeah, that will probably work. So we can switch that off, and now we can extrude these. So I'm going to do Alt-E and then extrude along normals, and then kind of pull this out. And then I'm going to look at this from the top, and I'm going to scale this in. I just want to place this on individual origins, scale this on the X, kind of just to get it straight. We'll probably straighten it out now. So what we can do is we can select all of these vertices, and I'm going to scale X0 to flatten them out, and do the same on this side. Scale X0, and then these we can take and we can scale them on the Y0, straighten those out, and the same with these ones. Scale Y0. All right. So now we can take these and we can extrude them again along normals, just slightly, so we kind of get some faces here. And I can select these ones, and then we can extrude them up. Something like that. Let me just think. So if we want to create these cylinders, I'll probably just create an extra cylinder for that. So that should be fine. Let me just try and save this quickly, because this is now... Where is this going? Switch 11, save. Okay, we are saved. That's always good. Alright, so yeah, I hope everyone's doing well today. I'm just busy modeling my first asset that I need for my little sci-fi cartoon series that I'm starting to work on. Can probably make this a bit bigger. So if we select all of these, maybe not these. If I deselect, oopsie, that's not gonna work. If I deselect those, let's see if I can scale. That's not amazing. Let me just deselect these ones. Median point. Yeah, we also don't really want that. Let me just see. Okay, that's all right. So what I want to do here is let me just place my 3D cursor there, and then we can create a cylinder. Let's scale it down, rotate X 90 degrees, and then we can scale like that. Yeah, we can probably have the geometry intersect like that. That should be fine. So let's select all of that, duplicate that, move it this way, and then I'm just going to separate this quickly. Separate that selection, and let me just set the pivot to geometry, and then we can snap that object to the 3D cursor. So I'm going to place a 3D cursor right here, and I'm going to snap this selection to cursor, and it should snap to that side. Okay, cool. Now we can join this one in again, so it's all part of the same thing. Okie dokie. So we have that, and then we can take these two. Let me extrude them along normals and then scale them up, but I want to scale them individually. Yeah, like that. So let me just see if I set this to median point, scale X, scale Y, and then we get that. Okay, that's pretty cool. So we can probably scale in the Y like so. I don't know, it looks a bit weird, but let's see. Let me just place one of these right here. And then we can probably scale these in. Okay, that's kind of weird, but yeah, I think it works. Okay, so we have our controlling this arm that's going to kind of swivel the whole thing. I wonder if we select these and these and scale them. No, we'll probably have to select all of that and then just kind of GZ. So we can move them up like that, or we can, what's gonna happen if I move that? Then we can stretch it. Yeah, that's probably a better idea. So I'm just gonna move these up a bit so we have a little bit more space underneath it. Alright, that should be fine. And then we can inset both of these again and maybe extrude these out, so we can see how far we need to have those. Okay, so now we can actually start with the actual telescope part, and then we can just slot it in. So as I said, it's going to be very kind of cartoony. So let's just place our 3D cursor right here so we can start creating there. And this is basically going to be cylinders. So I'm going to create my first cylinder, scale it down, rotate it 90 degrees and just kind of move it up a little. Okay, like something like that. Cool. Let me just check something quickly. Yeah, audio levels are looking good. All right, so let's move this a little back. And this is gonna be the small one, so let's scale this down. And then we can take this and kind of just move it back a little. And this is gonna be the eyepiece. So we just kind of extrude that, bring it down. I don't know, something like that. All right, so now we can take this part, bring it a little closer, and we can probably scale it slightly. And now we need the next one, so we are going to extrude, or let's see, can't we just... No, can't do that. So we're just going to extrude this and then escape, and then I'm going to scale it up so we kind of have something like that, and then we can extrude that out, maybe scale that a little. Okay, now the big part. So we're going to extrude, cancel that, scale quite a bit bigger, and then we're going to extrude that probably to about here. And then we can scale this up. We'll probably have to scale the whole thing once we've created this part. We can maybe scale that slightly. And maybe this part as well. Yeah. Okay, so we've got this front piece, and now we can do that last little section. So we do extrude, cancel, scale that out just a tiny bit, bring that out, and then scale that up. Okay, that's our little telescope. Okay, so now we need to create this little glass dome. So a couple of ways to do that. So we can inset this, and maybe inset it again, and maybe inset it again, and maybe inset it again. And then I'm going to enable proportional editing and kind of just move this around, and then just use page down to scale this in a bit. Okay, and now I can GX to kind of pull this out, and that's looking really weird. So I need to kind of just pull these ones. So I'm pressing GG to slide these around. GG. And then this last one, GG. To kind of just get that rounding to look a little better. So yeah, obviously this is not high poly or anything like that. So maybe if we disable proportional, and now just kind of move that last one out. Whoops. Just a little like that. Okie dokie. Let's just have a look here. Hope everyone's doing well today. What are you guys up to? Okay. So that's our main part of the telescope. So let's just kind of see if we can move this into position. So we can just rotate it slightly and maybe kind of put it into position. Okay, so we'll have to make this part a little bigger. So what are we going to do? So we can probably, let me just enable this see-through. So we can probably scale this. We'll have to select all of this then, and then maybe scale in the Y, but then we're gonna get all kinds of weird things. Okay, what if I do this? If I just move them. So if I just move them along the Y. So we can probably do that. I can probably deselect these ones and then move them. Yeah. So let's move them about 0.5. No. Move them 0.1. Yeah, that might work. And then this one, move. What am I doing? I need to select that whole thing. So we need to select that and that corner. So minus 0.1. Yeah, I think that works. So now we can maybe move this thing a little down. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Maybe if we select these and then kind of move them a little closer. We still need the legs. Hey Andrew Stuff, how you doing? Sunday chill day. Yeah, very, very relaxing music, eh? Hopefully you guys won't fall asleep, but yeah, nice and relaxing vibes. Okay, so let's make this little, I don't know what you call this. This is probably just like some sort of controller thing. So maybe let's add that in. So let's have a look from the bottom. So these two. Okay. So we can probably just place our 3D cursor right here. And then we can create a cylinder, scale it down. And scale it down some more. Let me just see here. So let's move that. Maybe, yeah, and rotate it. Just so it kind of lines up. Okay, global, local, GZ. GZ, no. Okay, so we've got that, and now we can probably just do a little extrude, escape, scale that up. and then we extrude this out like so, and then we inset this, and maybe just have a little extrude like that. Simple stuff for a relaxing Sunday. Okay, so I want to just bevel this this edge quickly. So Control B to bevel, and maybe this one as well. Control B, bevel that. All right. We can probably join these two now. So we only have one object, and always remember to save. Save. What you guys busy with? Is anyone working on some interesting Blender projects? Alright, so now we just need the legs. So basic legs, basic legs, 3 legs. So let's see how we're gonna do this. So I can probably inset this first. Maybe let's just do a 1 inset, 2 inset, like that. And then we can figure out which ones we're going to use for the legs. Okay, so we need 3 legs. Probably 2 at the front and 1 at the back, or we can do 4, doesn't really matter. So maybe, let's see, so these are straight through, so we can probably use 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then at the back we will probably use, we'll probably make these double, so like that, and then 1 at the back. That will probably work for legs. Alright, so I'm just gonna extrude these down. Let's see if we can make these faces a little bit more round. So to do that, you can, I don't know if I can do them all together, but let's try. So if you go to Mesh, Transform to Sphere, and then you can kind of, okay, it's going to try and do them all at the same time, so that's not going to work. So let's try 1, 1. So if you just select these two, Mesh, Transform to Sphere, and then you just increase this to 1, and you'll see it's kind of trying to make it more round, that's kind of fine, I think. So Mesh, Transform to Sphere, and then you just pull this all the way to 1. Same with this one. Oops, that's not going to work. Undo. Mesh, Transform, Sphere. So you kind of have to pull just to the side and then click, and then make sure this is set to 1. Alright. So now we can scale them all. So we can select all of these. Make sure your pivot is set to individual origins, and we're going to scale them down. Little funky legs, and we probably need to move them out. So okay, so what I'm gonna do here, so let's set this now to median point, and then we can scale them outwards. Maybe like that. Okay, we can probably create little feet. So I am going to, let me just see, they're all flat, eh? Yeah, they kinda look flat. Okay, so I'm gonna extrude again, cancel that, and then I'm gonna set this to individual and scale. And scale. So we kinda get little feet, and then we can extrude them down. just holding in shift to get a little bit of a precise motion. Cool. We have little feet. Okay, let's move this thing down. So first of all, I'm going to set the pivot to the bottom. So I'm going to select all these faces at the bottom, and then Shift S cursor to select it, and it's going to place the 3D cursor right there in the center of those 3 feet. And now you can go into object mode, right click on this thing, set origin to 3D cursor. So now your origin is right here. Now you can easily move this to the middle of your scene. So you can either just set your cursor to world origin and then right click on this thing, or sorry, just click on this thing and then Shift S for snapping and selection to cursor. And it's going to be perfectly on the floor, as you can see there. Okay. There you are, Scoopy. Alrighty then. So what else are we gonna do here? I'm not very happy with this front piece, so I think let's do something here. So I think let's delete all of these. So to grow your selection, just press Control plus 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 plus, and I'm gonna delete all these faces so we're gonna see the inside of our telescope. Pretty cool. Okay, so what I want to do now, let's select this edge, and I'm going to place my 3D cursor to the center of that, and I'm going to try and create a sphere. Scale it down, and then we need to rotate this exactly the same amount that we rotate that. Now I'm not sure how much I rotated it, but let's see. So we can simply just rotate like that, and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this, looking at this line just above this edge here, holding in shift to be a little bit more precise. Okay, now I'm going to scale it until this edge going through here is similar size as the telescope, and then we can kind of make it into, or set it into place, if that makes any sense. So let's scale, scale, scale. And I'm not worried about those parts coming through because I am going to delete them. Just eyeballing, so kind of like that. Cool. So now what I want to do is, okay, so remember, so we need to cut at that area so we can attach it. So I am going to select all of these linked pieces of this telescope by just pressing L, and then I'm going to hide them by pressing H, and then I am going to select all of these faces I want to delete. So this is basically everything around here. Just pressing Control, and then you can, it's gonna kind of select everything in between. So we can delete these, and now we can delete everything on this side. So just press L to select all the connected or linked faces, and we can simply delete X and then faces. Okay, so now if I want to bring back everything, you press Alt H to unhide that, and now you can see what I'm gonna do here. I don't know if this is gonna work now, so I'll have to squash this thing down quite a bit. I didn't really think about that. Local, normal, Z. Okay, so So normal Z. I can probably do this. Yeah, I can probably use that. Now this thing is way too big, so I'm gonna delete those faces as well. Those faces I'm gonna delete as well. I think I'm gonna delete these as well, and these as well. Yeah, so it's a bit of a change of plans. So let's move that down without proportional. GZ. And now we can scale this again. So I'm just going to scale this up to kind of eyeball it so it's matching like so. And I think our faces, yeah, our faces are matching as well. Cool. So now we can simply select this edge loop and then Shift Alt click on this one to select that edge loop, and we're going to bridge them together. We can probably just snap them together. So what we can do is we can select again all of these, look at this from the front, and then just I'm going to zoom in here and I'm going to GZ and then move it so it's very close to each other, all these vertices. So let's see if we can do a cleanup and then kind of snap them together. I don't know if that's the best way of doing this, but let's give it a try. So let's just save before we try this. So you can select all of these. I think you can select the faces that you want to clean up, so like that. And then we can go to Mesh, Cleanup, and then we can go Merge by Distance. So if you move the slider, you can see there, if I adjust the distance, then they will snap together. Just like that. Perfect. I think they're all snapped, so we can probably just make this 0.006. Or let's make it 7, just to be safe that we're not missing one of these vertices. Cool. So now if we just double check, if we go into X-ray view and we select a box around one of these vertices and we look at the bottom, verts is 1. So that's a good sign. That's also 1. And that's all 1. You can also switch on your statistics here on the left hand side. If you click on this drop down here at the top, and then you select statistics and you'll get it here. So now if I select a vertex like that, you'll see on the side vertices 1 of 1500 and something. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, and I think this looks a bit better. This rounding is a bit more natural. I wonder what will happen if we add a subdivision surface to this thing. That's probably going to freak out completely, but let's give it a try. Yeah, it's kind of breaking it a bit, so I'm not going to do that right now. Yeah, no, that doesn't look good at all. And if we do shade smooth, nah, also not great. So let's add a little bit of detail here. So I'm just going to select these two and I'm going to inset them, and I'm going to Alt E and then extrude along normals just to kind of we can pull them out, and then another little inset, and then we can Alt E and pull them in. Just little details like that. Okay, so this one's got a small telescope on top of it as well, so we can do that as well. So I'm going to add another loop cut here, so Alt R for loop cut, just like so. And then we can select those two faces. And we can extrude them. Maybe scale them down. Alright, and now we can place our 3D cursor here. So Shift S cursor to select it. And then I'm going to create another cylinder. Scale him down. And I want to rotate that to match the angle again. I should have made a note of the degrees, but as I say, because this is for a cartoon, I want everything to kind of be a little bit uneven. So this is perfect. So we can probably scale this up a little bigger. And then we can move this up, but global GZ, move it up. So we kind of just like that, and then local GZ. No, that's not right. Normal GZ. View cursor local GY. What is this thing doing? GX Z Y. So that's doing that. That's doing that, and that's doing that. Okay. And then normal GY X. This is very weird. That's fine. Let me just do the rotation. This thing is very janky. Scale X, scale Y. I think I need to separate this thing quickly. And I just want to set my origin to the middle, and then I want to apply the scale. So now we should be able to. This thing is very strange. Global. Okay, the rotation is set to 0, that's why. Let's delete it. And let's recreate a cylinder. Scale it down. And rotate. Just want to scale it up a little bit. Maybe. Okay. Scale Y, X, Z. That's what I want. Okay, we can fix the rotation in a minute. So let's take this face and we inset this like so. And we extrude this. And we're going to scale it down. And we're going to extrude this, escape scale. And then just make the little eyepiece here. And let's inset this and extrude it in. Okay, so we have our little eyepiece. And we can probably move this out a little further, scale it up, and then we'll just create the front section. So extrude, scale, and then extrude that out. Okie dokie. So that is not right yet. So I will have to just rotate this slightly. We can maybe even move it a little further upwards, maybe around here. Yeah, maybe something like that. Okay, now we just need to fix this little section here. So we can take these two and kind of just move them up normal. Like so. And now we can do a little inset and extrude this inwards. Just like that. And we can join these together. Only have one little, let me just call this telescope. Okay, I want to add some details to this, just some little details, like things like that. Little loop cuts, and then I'm gonna do a Alt E and then extrude long normals, and we're gonna pull that in. That's not looking right. Undo that. Let's make sure this is set to global. And then we do along normals. I think that's better. No, also not. Local. Also not. Okay. So we have some issues here. Okay, so it's our scale that needs to be set. So as you can see here, the scale for this whole object is set to 0.3, and there's a weird Z scale. And then we also have a rotation that's pretty weird. So I think I'm just going to apply all of this so that it's all good. So let me just save this. And if we select this model, I'm going to go to Object, Apply, All Transforms, and you'll see everything is going to snap to 0 and the scale is going to be 1. So that is exactly what I want, I think. Now, if we try and do this again. Along normals. Yeah, that looks better. That's looking much better. So if you guys have any issues, like if you're doing an inset or an extrude or something like that and it doesn't look right, just apply your scale for that object, and that will help you a lot. So maybe we can do a little loop cut around here and maybe add some details here as well. Long normals, just gonna kind of pull this in so we kind of get something like that, and maybe one on this one as well. So maybe here at the back, select all of these, Alt E, extrude long normals, kind of just pull this in so we get something like that. Okay, maybe around this thing as well. So I'll select these. And we can just extrude them inwards. And maybe one here in the middle as well. So I'm gonna do 2 loop cuts here. And I'm gonna select everything around like so. Alt-E, long normals, and pull that in. And maybe one around this area as well. So loop cut. And then we select these ones, pull that in. Okie dokie. So I think we have a basic telescope ready to go. Not really happy about this part. This part looks a bit boring. So I'm gonna add some more loop cuts in here. Scale that down. Maybe let's move that down. And maybe let's do something like so. Maybe the opposite here in the middle, so we can extrude. Oops, no, that's not gonna work. We can extrude these ones outwards. Yeah. What do you guys think? Can this work for a little cartoon telescope? How many polys are we looking at? So we have a total of 3,317 faces, which I think is okay. Not too bad. Okay, so what else do I need to model? There's lots to model, lots and lots and lots. So I still need to do we can maybe do, I need to create a Mars rover, and I need to create lots and lots of things. I need to create a little alien that I'm gonna only do later on, once we get to the characters. So I need to create a little Mars rover. So let me just show you guys what I have here as references. So I've got this picture as a reference. So as you can see, very cartoony little rover. So something like that might work. Or what is this one? Well, this little one. But I want something with at least 4 arms. Cool. NSK definitely looks good. Squash and transform are basically essential for cartoons. Yeah. What I will do is I will probably, once I'm happy with the models, I think what I'm going to do is something like this. So you duplicate your model, so you have a backup, and then you simply go into edit mode and you take some of these vertices, enable proportional editing, and then you can kind of just make this a little bigger, and then you can kind of pull them around exactly like you said. So you can kind of just create some janky looking things. So this is obviously not exactly what I'm going to do, but I think you get the idea. So I don't know, something like that. But yeah, you kind of get the idea. So I'll probably do that last, once I get to the stage to cartoonify them a little more. But yeah, I think proportional editing works pretty well for these type of things. If you want to make this kind of big, kind of something like that. That's completely messed up now, but just playing around. Amazing. There's our janky cartoonified model. Not really. But yeah, you can use that Shoku. Sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Yeah, it's quite a cool process to just kind of push and pull vertices around to create like a little bit of a cartoony look. But yeah, that's obviously a little crazy. Looks like it saw things it cannot unsee. Yeah, exactly. Second time was right. Okay, show. Now I forgot how I said it. Show Q. I'm guessing. So another thing that you can do is you can use a lattice. So if I duplicate this again, I think I deleted the. No, it's fine. Let me just set my cursor to world origin, and then we can snap this one to cursor. Bam. So what you can also do is you can create a lattice. Cursor to select it, and we can create a lattice. And with a lattice, you can do some really cool stuff. So I can just scale this so it's kind of fitting around this object. I'm going to scale it down slightly, or scale it up. Okay, so let's say you have your lattice and it's around your object like so. We can probably scale it on the Y to have it in a box. And then what you can do, if you go into your lattice properties here on the side, you can increase the resolution. And then let me just save quickly. So if you select your model, you go to your modifiers and you apply a lattice modifier. And for the object, you're going to select your lattice. And that's basically that. So now if I click on my lattice and I go into edit mode, I can move these points around. And that's going to deform my object as well. So if you move these points like so, you can kind of see what it's doing. You can also use lattice to animate objects, which is pretty cool. You just need to install, I think there's a little plugin you need to install. Yeah, this plugin is called Animate All. So then you can basically animate a vertex position or keyframe a vertex position, which is pretty cool. And the nice thing about this is your animation will be on your lattice, obviously. And if you hide your lattice, you can disable your modifier. So if I switch it off, you can see it jumps back to its normal look, its normal state, which is quite cool because you don't have to go in and like animate all these little vertices on your model. Just do that on the lattice. And then yeah, just pretty easy to work like that. I actually did something for a commercial the other day where I had to model, or I had to animate a very organic product almost like a box. It wasn't a box. It was a like a package, like a plastic kind of package, and I had to animate it like someone kind of pulled something out of it. And I used the lattice, and it just worked really, really well. So yeah, just a little tip there. Okay, so we can probably delete that. Whoa, what did I do now? So I can delete my lattice, and I can delete this one. So we have our original. And yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything else I want to add right now. Any suggestions? If you guys have any suggestions to what I can add to this little model, let me know in the chat. So that's what we currently have. Maybe a little lip here. So if I move, just switch off proportional. So if I pull that inwards, let's set this to local GZ. No, GX, GY, GZ. This thing is freaking out again. I can probably use the normals. So if we change this to normal, and you can also switch on this little, if you click on the move icon, you'll get these little gizmos, and then you can kind of see which one is the right one. Like if I change this to global, you'll see that's not what I want. Local, also not what I want. Normal, that's what I want. And then you can also see, so it's the blue one, so that's the Z. So I can do GZ, and that will be the correct one. So I kind of just want to pull this in slightly like that. So it looks like the lens is kind of coming out from the inside. And maybe I just want to add some details on this face. So maybe let's do, yeah, we can keep it on normal. Just a little inset, and then maybe just pull this in. So we have some detail here. Maybe pull this in as well. Oh, what's going on here? Let's just undo that quickly. I think we need to spherify this. So with this face selected, I'm going to go to Mesh, Transform to Sphere, and just pull this out. So we have some weird issues here. Not really issues, but yeah. Now that's cool. So now we can take this and we can probably extrude it down. Okay, that's fine. Just a little bit of detail. We can maybe even add a 2 loop cuts here in the middle, and then extrude that inwards as well. Okay, should we do the little rover as well? Yeah, I think let's do the rover as well. So let's just call this telescope, and let's do a save, and I'm gonna hide it. And then I'm going to load my new or a different reference image. So, Bars Rover, where are you? Let's have a look at this one. So yeah, very basic little rover, but I want one with at least, it should have 4 arms. Okay. So let's start with a cube. Scale it down, scale it like that, scale it like the X maybe. Okay. So that's the body. Let's create the wheels. Cylinder. Rotate Y 90. Scale X. So we want to make them a little bit fatter like that. And let's just move this one out here. Maybe scale them down. And I want to apply the scale. And then we select these two. Okay, now I want to select every second face around, and there is actually an easy way to do that. So you can select your first face and then shift click on the second one you want to select. And then to complete that pattern, you press Shift Control plus, and then you kind of just hope that it works out. And this one does, which is amazing. So now we can go and we can add a little inset like so. And then you can do Alt E and then extrude along normals to bring them out. And then we can change this to individual origins and scale them down. So we kind of get something, something like that. Okay, so we can probably take these two faces and insert them, little holes, and then extrude along normals, just so. So we have that little hole right there. Yeah, that's good enough. So what I want to do with this one, let's move it over here, and then we can apply an array, and I want 3 of these going in the Y axis. They're a little close together, so let's just space them out. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then we can probably add another array. And this one we want to have on the Y as well. No, sorry, we want these on the Z. Okay, so what is the scale of this thing? Let me just apply its scale. So you can see the dimensions. So the X is that. So let's copy that. And that's the amount that I want to have this one. And that doesn't make sense, because that's not gonna... Okay, let me just delete the second array for now. And then I'm just going to apply this first array quickly. And I am going to... selection to cursor. No. I want to set this thing's pivot in the center. So cursor to selected, and then origin to 3D cursor. So we have that centered, and now I can set my 3D cursor to this. And then I can snap this to the cursor again. Now we know that's centered. And oops. Can you make it show your inputs, please? I can. I know there is a bit of an issue with that plugin on Mac, but I'm going to try it quickly. What is that? Do you know what that add-in is called? Something keys or input. I know there is a little plugin in Blender. If you know what it's called, can you maybe let me know? I know I've tested it before and then it kind of worked, but it didn't show all my key inputs, but I can definitely turn it on if I can just find it. Screencast, let's have a look. No, it doesn't come up if I search for screencast. I know there was a built-in one. Let's Google this quickly. Blender Screencast Keys. I'll probably have to download it quickly. The right side panel. Oh, is it not an add-on or tool? Item, animate, edit, view. I don't think I have it. Somewhere in there I've seen it before. Yeah, I think you need to add the add-on first. So let me just see. I can probably download it somewhere. Click here to download the add-on. Okay, so I'm just going to save this here. And let's have a look. So we're going to save this quickly and go to Preferences. And then we need to install this from disk. So we're going to go to our desktop. And let's see if this works. Yeah, let's add it. Okay, so we've added it. I think it's not showing everything because I'm using a Wacom tablet and not a mouse. But let's see. Okay, so that is there. And then under N, we'll probably have to see it. Yeah, we'll see it right under Screencast Keys. And do we need to enable it? G, let me just see. I don't see it popping up anyway. Oh, you have to enable it. G, yeah. So there you can see escape, rotate, right click. That's working. Scale, yeah. Extrude, yeah. Okay, I think it's working. Yeah, happy days. Cool bananas. All right, so we can we can probably move it down a little. Offset. This is pretty cool. So I can adjust it exactly where I want it. That's going to show the keys above it. Okay, cool. Now you guys can see my... Yeah, I can make it bigger. Let's make it bigger. So font size. Let's make the mouse like 45. And let's make this 15. And then we can probably move it down a bit. Right there in the corner. Something like that. You can probably move it down a bit more. Cool. Is that big enough? Or G. Awesome. Cool, yeah, I think this one is actually a different plugin because I know I used one of these before and it didn't show all my key presses, and this one looks like it's working. It's showing Shift, showing Control, Alt, it's showing the Command key, space. Yeah, it's working. Cool, thanks for that. So now I need to... What is happening here? That does not look centered. Let me just origin to geometry, and then we can do selection to cursor. Okay, so we can move this out so it's kind of on the side, maybe like that, and then we can get the exact location of this. So we can make this minus 0.8. And then we can duplicate this and we can move it to 0.8 positive. And then we can obviously move them down a bit. So maybe, I don't know, maybe like that. Okay, so we have our wheels, and now we kind of need that little control thing. Oh, not the control thing, the camera thing. So I'm going to place my cursor to this plane, and I'm going to add a cylinder. As we do, bring it down, or scale it down, scale it up, scale it down, scale it in the Z, and then let's just kind of move this into the geometry. And this is where we are going to place our camera. So I think, let me just move this up. That's a little bit. Let me just select all of this and scale it up a bit. Okay, so set our 3D cursor here, and now we can create our little cube, and we can scale it out. Let's do a loop cut, and maybe create the little eye on this side. So we're going to create a cylinder, as we do, and we're going to rotate this X 90. So we can take these two and we can inset them. You can either do a double inset, so if you press I twice, or if you press it once, it will create one inset, twice it will create two insets, or depends on how many faces you select. So I'm going to inset this one like so, bring this down, Okay. And I'm going to create a loop cut. Whoops. Loop cut on this thing. Move it up. And I'm going to select all of those. And I'm going to extrude them along normals to kind of just bring this out. And we can create that little thing. I'm not sure what that is. So maybe if we add another loop cut around here, and then we can, let's just look at this. Whoops. Look at this from the side. It's probably these two faces. Cursor to selected. And we're going to add our cylinder here. Lots of cylinders. Not sure what this is, but I'm going to do a little key thing here. So let's just extrude this again. Look at this from the front. And then if we enable X-ray and we select these two faces on either side. And then I'm going to extrude them along normals. And I think that is that. All right, so at the bottom we can add some interesting looking things. So let's do a loop cut right about here. And then we can select all of these faces and extrude along normals to bring them out, little base. And let me just say offset even. Not sure if that's really needed, but that's fine. And now I can do another loop cut, bring this down to probably around here. And then select all of these faces and extrude them. Maybe like that. Okie dokie. So what else do we need? We need the little wheel connectors. So let's put our 3D cursor on this side. Let's remember to save. And remember to drink some water. Cool. Yeah, see we have some new visitors on both Twitch and YouTube. So thank you for that.
Master, we have a visitor.
So now we need to create these little things. So on this reference, it shows two little connectors where the wheel thingies come out. I need to use my cursor at the moment. I don't use it enough. Yeah, it's something I learned when I started using Blender about a year ago. It's really, once you get the hang of the 3D cursor, it's just amazing because you can use it with so many things. Like obviously the shortcut is Shift S, and then you can either do a cursor to select it. Yeah, so it's Shift S. So Shift S will bring up your snapping menu basically. So let me show you quickly. I'm gonna let's just hide all of this quickly. So let's say you have a cube and yeah, there's so many things you can do with it. Like I started using it just to kind of set my origin. So if you go into edit mode, let's say you want to set your origin to this corner here on the side. So very simple, you select that vertex and then you do Shift S and then you say cursor to selected. So that means it's going to snap your cursor to the selected, which is the vertex. So if you press that, you'll see there's your 3D cursor now. And now if I go into object mode, you can right click on your cube, set origin, and then you can say origin to 3D cursor. And that's going to set your origin right there. So now if I rotate this thing, it's going to rotate around that area. So another thing you can do is you can set it to a face. So select the face, Shift S, cursor to selected, go into object mode, right click origin to 3D cursor. And now your origin is right at the bottom. So now I can go Shift S, set my cursor back to world origin, which will jump to the center of my world. And now I can select the cube, Shift S, and then use selected to cursor. So it's going to take the selected object and it's going to snap it to the cursor, and it's going to use your origin to snap it. So as you can see there, now my cube is perfectly on the ground. And obviously also if you want to create something maybe on this face, I will select the face, set my cursor to selected, and then I will do Shift A and create my, let's say, a UV sphere. And it's going to create it right there in the center of that face. So yeah, it's basically Shift S, and it's just so handy. Another thing that you can do is, let's say, I'm just going to delete this sphere. Let's say you have 2 cubes like that, and you want to place something right in the center of these 2. So very easy, select both of the cubes, Shift S, cursor to selected, and it's going to place the cursor between the 2 origins. So because my origins are on the bottom face, it's going to set the cursor right in the center of that. And now if I create something new, like a cylinder, you'll see that it's going to be exactly in the center of those 2 objects. And then you can obviously use just normal snapping as well. So you can do stuff like, let's say I want this cube to sit on the corner of this cube. I can select this cube, select this vertex, set my cursor to selected, and then I can select this object. First of all, I want my, because it's going to use the origin. So if I now just do Shift S and I select selection to cursor, it's going to do that. So it's going to snap it. It's going to snap this one's origin to the cursor, and I can see it's exactly on that corner, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's just really nice to snap things, move things around, etc. Once you use it, you can't. I can't work without it. Like, I came from Maya. And yeah, in Maya, it's just a mess. I don't know. Blender is like a billion times better for me, personally. I do understand why people use Maya, because it's still industry standard, blah, blah, blah. But hopefully that's going to change soon. Do you use Blender on a daily basis for work, or do you kind of just use it to as a hobby? Yeah, it's gonna make your life so much easier. I promise you. Like, sometimes you just want to kind of create a little object and you want to stick it between, let's say, that face and that face. Then you just quickly do a Shift S, cursor to select it, and then you know your cursor is exactly in the center of those 2 faces. And now you can create a cube and you can scale it down, and there you have a cube that's perfectly centered. So it's really easy. And if I want to select this cube now, I just press L with my mouse pointers hovering over it, and it's going to select all the selected faces, which is also pretty handy. So So just L and then X spaces to delete that. So yeah, 3D cursor is amazing. And then also another little shortcut that I use all the time is full stop. So if you select a face and you press full stop on your numpad, it's going to zoom into that face and it's going to rotate around that face. So yeah, so many little shortcuts. That's really, really cool. So maybe... No, I'm super noob. I wish I can use it for work. Yeah, it's amazing to be able to use it for work, because I use it for work almost every day. I mostly do product replacements in commercials. So I'll do a lot of object tracking, people kind of holding a product in their hand and kind of talking about it. Your standard commercial stuff, and then we have to kind of replace the labels on products or change them to a different language, different country. So yeah, it's fun because the thing is, we'll tell you a little story. So a few years ago when I started working in the industry, I used Maya and I used PF Track. Let's go to chat. So I used Maya and I used PF Track for quite some time, and then you'll use PF Track to do all your 3D tracking, like your object tracking, your camera tracking, etc. And then once you are happy with your track, you will export that as a FBX to Maya. But you have to be very careful because you need to make sure your frames per second, your starting frame, your frame range, all of that fits exactly, and usually you will have problems with that. Then you import that into Maya and you kind of set everything up, make sure everything fits, do your work, and then you will render that, and then you will composite it, let's say in After Effects or in Nuke. So I use After Effects mostly. So I had to use 3 programs. Now I do all my tracking inside of Blender, camera tracking and object tracking. And I must tell you guys that Blender's tracker is so much better than PF Track. I don't understand it. It's so much more accurate. It's so much faster. Does the tracking a lot faster. And it's just, you don't have to now export it into another application. It's just so much easier. Like I can't even... so a tracker is basically when you, let's say you have some footage of a person holding an object. Let's say this mug. I'm holding this mug in my hand and I kind of move it around like this. And the brief says I need to change this label or this logo on this mug to something else. So what you will have to do is you have to track this object. So you get the little tracking points that you kind of track on it. You can track the logo, the letters, whatever. So you track this, and then you link this to almost like a null object in Blender. And then you have like little points with or how this cup is kind of rotating. And then you can model something around it, like the label part, and that will then stick to this movement. So you can render that out and then composite it on top of this to create a new label. So yeah, I do everything in Blender now. I don't have to jump between programs. And the cool thing is you can even do your compositing where you basically do your layering inside of Blender as well. Because Blender's got a full compositing section basically. But I still use After Effects for my compositing work. Excuse me. But yeah, you can do it all inside of Blender, which is really, really cool. So let's jump back into Blender. So yeah, here at the top you can see there is the compositing workspace. This is where you can kind of put everything together. And then you also have your tracking under VFX, and you'll have motion tracking. And this is where I do all my tracking. I'll definitely going to do some tracking live streams soon. Definitely something I want to do. Okay, so we need to figure out how to connect these wheels. So we can probably, let me just see. So let's set our cursor to this thing. And let's create some cylinders again. Yeah, that might probably work. And then we can just kind of insert this and pull this in. Not that far. Maybe like that. So L to select all of that. And yeah, another trick, I don't know if you guys know about this, but if you want to, obviously if you want to move something in a certain direction, you press G for move and then say Y to move in the Y axis. Or you can do GX to go in the X axis or GZ. But let's say you want to move in the Z axis as well as the Y. So you want to do Z and Y, but you want to exclude X. So you can press G and then Shift X. So basically it means it's going to exclude the X axis. And now you can see I can move it around on the Y and the Z at the same time, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's not exactly what I want to do. I want to move this way. Just going to kind of eyeball this again. And then I'm going to add an array. Make 3 of these. And we want to move it in the Y. Maybe 1. Oh, that ain't gonna work. So let me just select this thing again, and we're going to separate this out as a separate object. So to do that, right click, separate selection, and now it's a separate object altogether. So I'm just going to set my origin to geometry, and yeah, you can choose bounds. I think bounds is better. Alright, so now I can do an array. We want 3 of these. That should be 0. That should be 1. Maybe minus 3.7. That looks almost perfect. Maybe something like that. Okay, so we can apply this, and let me just see what we can do here. So I'm going to set my origin again to geometry and set this again to bounds. So we know that it's now centered right there. And where is this? Let me just apply the scale. Okay, so that's our X position. So I can copy that. And I can duplicate this and kind of just move it over here. Paste this and take the minus out. Now we just need to flip it around. So we can do a rotate Z or Y and then do 180. Perfect. Let me just see. Minus 427, minus 427, yeah. That's kind of working. So now we need to connect these wheels. So there are a few ways we can do this, but I am probably just gonna do something here. Let's take all of these at the same time. I'll probably delete the side again because I just realized once I have these legs or these wheels connected, I can just flip it around and rotate that in. So let's do a quick save and let's do a inset. So let's just see. Inset those three and we're going to extrude them out like so. Okay, so we have a few different options here. Let me just think how we can do the connections. Okay, so we can do a sphere. So cursor to selected. I'm just going to try one and see if it works. So we create a UV sphere, slightly too big, and do a little, like a joint, like that. I think that might work. So the cool thing is now you can set your 3D cursor to this one, and you can duplicate this thing, and you can say selection to cursor. That didn't work because we have to separate this out as a separate object first, and then you need to set your origin to geometry. I'm going to set this to bounce. Okay, bounce doesn't really matter when it comes to a sphere. And then we can say selection to cursor, and then same with this one. So you can set the cursor there, and then take this one, duplicate it, and then selection to cursor. So that's a quick way to demonstrate how awesome the 3D cursor is. Because usually in 3D software, snapping is always such a pain. And yeah, using the 3D cursor to snap is just amazing. Okay, so now we can go and we can take one of... no, we can't do that. So we can probably join those in again. And let's do a save. Alright, so I want to... okay, let me just ban that message quickly. No, how do I ban someone again? Spam. Let's first report them. Spam. Spam. Okay, and then we want to block them. We want to ban them. How do we ban them? Block. Probably just block. Cool. And we can probably... how do we delete this message? Ban. There we go. Okay, sorry, I just banned someone there for spamming. Alright, so now we can probably do something here. These are all separate now. Okay. Okay, I'm doing this a little bit of slowly. Let me just see if we do a cylinder again. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and do it like this. So this part we can move down. Maybe not. Let's select all of that and then just rotate it a bit. And then we can probably just slide it over. Maybe like that. Yes. Okay, so now we can take this whole thing, duplicate it out, and duplicate it out, and then we can just kind of move them into place. I'm literally just gonna eyeball this because this is now all gonna be slightly different. So we need to kinda get this in place like that, and this one should be something like that. Okay, now we just need to connect them to the bottom. So I am going to take this little sphere, and I actually want to probably don't have to rotate this one around, but we can if we want to. Maybe that will look a little better. So if I kind of just rotate that like so, and make sure this one is cool as well. Just so it's kind of looking okay. That's cool. So now what I want to do is I want to select this one, and this one. So just pressing L there, and then I'm gonna duplicate them and move them down. Maybe to around here. And this one we can move to around here. And this one we can move into place. Rotate X. Okay. Pretty nice. And then we can probably take these ones and extrude them out. So let's have a look from this side view. So we're gonna take them to the center right here. Yeah, together, so they're in the same object. So I'm gonna click on these, shift click on these, right click, join, and then we can join them later because this is now one piece. So we'll probably just duplicate that for the other side. Okay, so let's just line this up quickly. So what are we doing? So let's change this to normal and kind of just pull this up. Local. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this. It's not exactly perfect. Just making sure all the things are kind of eaten away that needs to be eaten away. These ones we can just move up a little. Just like so. And this little baby. Okay, this one I will have to rotate slightly. So, rotate X and then, no, global, yeah. Okay, I think that works. Okay, we have the wheels. Let's do a save. And now I can delete all of these, and I can delete all of these. And I can take this one object and let me just set the origin to geometry. And I'm going to set this to bounds. Okay. And now we can just check where it's located, so you can see the X amount is that, and we can copy that, and we can duplicate this, move it over to the side, and I think let's flip it first and then we set the location. So we can do a rotate Z, and then we can do a 180, and now we can paste this amount and then just put just remove the minus. And now it's exactly on the opposite side, as you can see there, which is pretty nice. Okay, how's everyone doing today? Everyone having a nice Sunday and a nice weekend? Okay, so for this one's origin, I want to set them so it's obviously in the center, but at the bottom, just below these wheels. So an easy way to do that is, let me just join all of these together. Join, so this is all now one model. And if we go into edit view, let me just see. Okay, so we don't have one of these that's pointing straight down, which is not a problem really. What did I see there? Oh, cool. How long have you been using Blender, if you don't mind me asking? I might have a little coupon for you to my Blender course. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do a lot of I used to do a lot of tutorials, and now I'm kind of more doing like online courses on Skillshare, Udemy, and then live streams. 1 week. Oh, wow. Nice. Okay, what I'm going to do, let me just see if I have that coupon code quickly. Give me a second. I'm going to give you I think I have a Udemy coupon that's active. Let me just quickly check. Dun, 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 dun. I created this course last year, about a year ago. And it's a 6-hour course, just kind of all the basics. Old thumbs. I'm just gonna check if because I can only create like 3 coupons per month. But I think I did create one. Expires on the 1st. Yes. Am I allowed to stream it while I learn? Yeah. Yeah, can't see anything wrong with that. Do you stream on YouTube or do you stream on Twitch? Let me see if I can send you this link. Whisper. Paste. There you go. Cool. I've sent it to you in a chat or a whisper. So yeah, you can use that. The link expires at the end of this month. So you must just grab it quickly before the link expires. It expires on the 1st of June. But once you have it, if you sign up, if you use that link today, you have access to that course forever. Yeah, so you get it for free and you have access forever. So if there's anyone else watching currently that wants a coupon to my Blender course on Udemy, just let me know. I will gladly give you guys coupons. But yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm sure you can. I'm sure Twitch will allow it. I don't have any problem with it. Okay, we have a basic rover. Let me just see. We can add some controls here at the front. So maybe let's just add a loop cut here. Maybe like that. And then we can maybe do a loop cut like that and add 2 insets here. So I'm doing a double inset, so I. And then we can extrude this out. Maybe inset that again. And maybe extrude this inwards. Maybe like little front sensors or something. And maybe we can create some famous cylinders. So let's just, whoops, rotate. What did I do now? Local. Cool, it's a pleasure. Yeah, go check it out. So I created that a while back, about a year or so ago. But it kind of covers all the basics from modeling, animating. I also go into a bit of physics simulations. And there's even a bonus episode on rigging a character. Yeah, and I'm actually planning on doing another course, like a little bit of a more advanced course, and maybe then also a course on on tracking. So I'm just kind of placing these. Probably should have used an array for this, but as I said in the beginning, this is not perfect at all. Well, it shouldn't be perfect. It's for a cartoon. So maybe let's create, I don't know what this is. No idea. Maybe some kind of sensor thing. So now we can select all of these. So you can just point your cursor L, 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 L. And I kind of just want to move them over slightly. And then we can duplicate all of these and kind of move them to the side. Okay, so we have those funky things. Maybe let's add something here. So I'm gonna subdivide this face, place my 3D cursor right here, and maybe let's add a, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, I don't have to add my 3D cursor here because I'm just gonna do an inset. I'm not gonna add a new object here. This one we can pull in, maybe just like that, some weird details right here. Okay, yeah, at the back, I don't want to follow this exactly, but it kind of looks cool, this back end, or this back piece. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna take these two, so that edge on that side and this edge on this side, and I'm gonna subdivide them. So it gives me these extra vertices right in the center. And if you select them and you press GG, you can slide them over. So I'm going to slide them to around here. And then I'm going to connect that vertex with this one by pressing J. And that's going to cut through and it's going to create another vertex in the center. So now we can maybe do a loop cut. No, I don't want to do a loop cut. I just want to subdivide these two again, and then I want to subdivide these two. So we have those, connect them with J, connect those two with J. So now I can extrude these two, and then I can extrude them again and kind of just move them back. Maybe move them down, maybe move them a little bit forward. Okay, now we can subdivide these again. I can maybe take these ones and I can extrude them. Now, the thing, if you want to extrude something, I think you can just extrude like so, but as you can see, it's going to create two edges. So let me show you. If I enable X-ray and I select this line, it's going to tell me I've got two edges selected here, which is a bit of a problem. So I'm going to undo that. So if you want to extrude something that's against a plane, you can do Extrude Manifold. So Alt E brings up like the kind of advanced extrude. So it's like the normals, individual faces, all of this. But the last one, Extrude Manifold, that actually works. You can actually see what it's doing if I pull this down as well. So I think if we pull this up, now we should have one edge here. So if we go into X-ray again and I just drag a box around this area, it shows me it's one edge, which is perfect. And the same on this side. Yeah, one edge. So that's cool. Okay, so we have those, and we can probably take these and delete them. Not delete them, dissolve them. So dissolve edges. If you press X and then dissolve edges. Okay, so now we can probably create something here on this face. And let's do a little cylinder like so. And now I'm going to kind of space them out equally. So I'm going to select this face, cursor to select it. And now we just need to separate this thing first. And now we can do duplicate. And I can, no, I don't want to duplicate yet. What's happening here? Okay, I first want to set my origin to the center. Bounding. That's probably fine like that. And now we can duplicate this and then snap this to selection to cursor. Go into edit mode set my cursor here, duplicate, selection to cursor, set my cursor on that face, duplicate, selection to cursor. Cool, so we have those 4 things, and now we can just join them back inwards or into this model. So select all of them, right click and join. Okay, so we have that. What else can we do here at the back? Maybe if we do a inset here, take these in, and we can maybe do something interesting here as well. Just 2 little insets like that. Pull them in. Maybe pull them out again. What you can also do, snapping wise, this is also a very, very nice trick. So let's say you want to extrude these faces, but you want to align them to these faces. So you want to make sure they come out exactly the same distance, and they're going to kind of snap to these faces the distance. So what you can do is you can enable snapping here at the top, so this little magnet, or you can use the drop down, because you can activate this little magnet by holding in control. So if you're holding in control, it's going to snap, but you have to set your snapping to face snapping, because I want to snap to these faces around this area. So if I set this to face snapping, and you can see that it changed to the little face icon, and now I can select this face, and I can say, let me just change this back so I don't see the little gimbal. So I can say G, Y, so it's going to move in this way, and then I hold in control, and then I just point, while holding in control, I just point to that face where I want to snap. Like let's say I point to this face at the back, it's going to snap to that one. If I point to this one, you'll see it snaps to that. If I do this one, which is at a weird angle, it snaps to some weird area. So I can use this to just kind of snap. So I'm going to snap it to this one, click, and now you can see it's exactly the same distance from that, which is amazing. Let's do the same with this one. So you select this face, G, Y, and then hold control, and then point to the face, and then just click, and that's going to snap it to that. Okay, so what else can we do here? We can probably add some more details. Maybe, let me just see. Is that in the center? Probably. If I take this edge, subdivide it, and then connect those two. Yeah, that looks like a nice and straight line. And then we can subdivide this one as well. Connect those two. I wonder what we can do here. Let's try a inset or a extrude manifold on this face. So Alt-E, extrude manifold, and then pull it inwards. So we get like a cutout like that. And that's also when you will use the extrude manifold to kind of go inwards. Because look what will happen if you do a normal extrude. So if I select this face and I do a extrude inwards, you're going to get something like that. So it's going to leave the outer faces basically, and it's going to pull that in. So you have these paper thin walls now, and you can see issues here already because that's just not the right way to do it. So either what you need to do is you need to inset first and then extrude inwards, because then you get a thicker wall, or you select it and then Alt-E and then extrude manifold, and that's gonna kind of pull the whole thing inwards. And you can even go past other other things, if that makes any sense. Okay, so here we can maybe do something interesting as well. What do we want to do here? Maybe instead of cylinders, I'm going to add some cables here. So I'm going to use curves for this. So let's do this quickly. I'm going to set my 3D cursor to this face. And I'm going to go out of edit mode because I'm going to create a new object now. And I am going to create a curve. Bezier curve. And you'll see it's going to create this curve, which is quite big. And it's going to create it right there. So I'm going to scale this down, so we can kind of see our curve. And I'm going to rotate it on the Z 90 degrees. Well, we'll figure it out now. So what I want to do is I want to put... So if you go into edit mode on this curve, you can actually move these vertices around. And you can also rotate them to create a nice curve. So I want to take this point and I want to place it right on the 3D cursor in the center. So with this point selected, Shift S, selection to cursor. So you can do it with vertices as well. So you can snap a vertex to the 3D cursor, or a face, or a edge, or anything actually. So it's quite nice. And if you press N, you can see the actual control point, the coordinates. So you can either do local, which will just show you 0 because it's now in the center of this object, or you can go global, and that's going to show you exactly the exact coordinates, and you can obviously move it around if you want to. So what I want to do is I want to move the second point right above the first point. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to copy the Y, copy that. And first of all, I'm just going to pull this up. So just to make sure that it's not going to sit exactly on top of it. And then I'm going to paste the Y value that I copied. And I'm going to go back to this one. And I'm going to copy the Z. And I'm going to paste this into the Z as well. Now it's directly above it, but you can see this is obviously not what I want a straight line up. And that's because of this rotation. So, let me just see how I can reset this. So we can probably, let me just see if this one have any. Yeah, this I can scale down. So I can scale this to 0. And then I can scale this. Because yeah, see, this doesn't really show me the rotation, which is a bit interesting, but that's fine. So I'm going to scale it down to 0. And then we get that perfectly straight line. But now I want to bring these handles back because I want to extrude it and I want to kind of have a curve. So you can right click on these control points and you can go to handle type. Let me just see, spline type, handle type, and I think you can just go automatic. Yeah, and that's going to give you those control points back, and it's going to be kind of reset. So now I want to extrude, and you can see you can actually just extrude from that one. But before we do that, let me just reset this one as well. Okay, so I want to rotate this in the X, so maybe 90 degrees. No, rotate X minus 90, so we get something like that. And then we can move it kind of backwards. Maybe let's move it up a bit. And I'm going to scale this one. So if you scale it, it actually just kind of increase the size of the curve. and I'm gonna move it back so it kind of goes like that, and then we can just extrude this one on the Y and then just kind of move it inwards into the geometry, so we get a curve like that. And we can probably take this bottom point and kind of just move it a little bit forward so that curve looks a bit better, maybe even all the way to the front. Then we just need to scale this as well, or you can move these points as well. So I'm going to take this point, let me just reset this to automatic, scale it down, and then move this back. So we kind of get, oh, that looks horrible. Kind of just need to get this curve right. You can also move the points on their own. So I can take this point and I can move it or rotate or scale. So I'm going to move it forward, move this back, and then move this one forward. So this angle is a little bit sharper. And what I want to do, I want to add more resolution to this curve. So here in the curve settings, I can just increase the resolution, maybe to like 32. Just want to see if I can get the, I'll probably do so it kind of comes out a little bit first. And maybe let's move that one just up a bit, so we get a little bit of a nicer curve like that. So you kind of just move these points around until you're happy with your curve. And then what you can do, you can select this curve, go out of edit mode, and now in the curve settings, I'm going to go to geometry and I'm going to increase the depth under the bevel, and that's going to create a little, like a pipe, like so. I just need to move this point. You can also go back into edit mode and you can move these points around, and your pipe or your whatever you call it is gonna kind of move around. So I'm gonna take this one and just push it down into the bottom. What is the difference of rigging and animating? So animating is basically just adding keyframes. So I can go in here and I can take this little, or let me show you, what can I show you? Okay, so this is basically a simple example. Let me just join, no, I'm just gonna leave that for now. So let's say you want to animate this rover. So here at the bottom is your timeline. So I'm gonna go to frame 1, and on this rover with it selected, I'm gonna set a keyframe. So I'm gonna press I, and then you can choose what type of keyframe you want to set. So I just want to set a location keyframe, and you'll see it's going to create a little keyframe here at the bottom. And if I go to, let's say, frame 100, and I move this rover to the front, and I press I again, and then location again, it's going to place another keyframe there. And now if I play this from the from frame 1, pressing space, you'll see that my rover is kind of just sliding forwards. So that's basic animation. Where rigging is a little bit more advanced. Rigging is you actually add bones to your object. So let's say you have like a character, you'll add bones in the fingers, in the hand, in the arm, in the legs, in the feet, neck, shoulders, everywhere basically, spine. And then you can animate the bones, and that will in turn animate your, so rigging is more for, not really, because you can definitely use it in animation as well, because you want to have that those bones so that you can rotate the arm if you wanna animate. You can obviously animate by just kind of rotating the arm as well, but it's much easier to animate a rigged character. You also get something that's called inverse kinematic, so you can literally just like click on the hand and you can grab the hand, and the arm will kind of follow along. So it's very interesting the way you can set it up. You can also do it for non-character things. Like for this rover, I can place some bones inside these things that go to the wheel, and then you can kind of move them around and do some interesting stuff. So yeah, the rigging is quite intense, but it's very, very interesting, and you can do some really, really cool stuff with it. Okay, so let's carry on with our little cable thing here in front. So what you can do now with this cable, because it's still a spline, I can still go into edit mode and I can still move these points around. I can now create or basically convert this into a mesh object. Very easy to do that. Just right click on it and then go convert to mesh, and that's basically gonna change it into a mesh. So now if I select it and I press tab, you'll see that it's a normal mesh, and now I can go and I can change the model basically. Yeah, so it's adding animating functions via a skeleton. That's exactly, yeah. That's very, very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, so now we can duplicate this thing. And I will probably minus 0.01. GX minus 0.1. No. GX minus 0.01. Okay, yeah, that's better. So duplicate X 0.02. 0.02. Duplicate X 0.02. Duplicate X 0.02. And this way, minus 0.02. Duplicate minus 0.02. Duplicate minus 0.02, and then we have something like that. And probably add one more on this side. 0.02. No idea what that is, but it kind of looks cool. Maybe we should add something here at the back, just so that we can kind of look through this. What should we add here? Let's do an inset, and then I'm going to scale this kind of down, and then we do another inset, and we take this, bring it out, inset, and then in. Just some random details here at the top, and then maybe what can we do here? Inset, slightly inwards. Yeah, insets are always good just to add a little bit of detail. So like on this face, I can quickly do inset and then kind of just maybe pull this out, and then do an inset and kind of pull this in again. And it kind of just adds a little bit of something. Yeah, it does actually remind me of Wall-E as well now. So yeah, that's a little Mars rover. So I need some arms. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this now though. But yeah, I'm pretty happy so far with this thing. So I'm just going to join all of these into the same model, because currently these are all separate objects. So I'm just going to select all of these and that one and join together. So now we have one, and we call this Mars rover. Cool. So let's see our two objects side by side. So scaling is obviously not great. I think our rover will probably be, let me just set the origin quickly, one and this one and this one, this one, this one. So I've selected all the bottom features and I'm going to say cursor to selected. So I'm going to place the cursor right in the center of all of those, and then go into object mode and then right click, set origin to 3D cursor. So now you have your origin right there at the bottom, and I can now set my 3D cursor back to world origin, and then I can snap this one, this one, Shift S, selection to cursor, and that's going to sit then exactly on the grid. If I may ask, have you used any other 3D software, or is Blender kind of your first 3D application that you're gonna start using? And the cool thing is, if you set your origin to the plane, it's your first. Nice. Good choice. The best choice. I have probably used almost all the 3D applications out there. I started with 3ds Max back in the DOS days. I was still very, very young. So I used 3ds Max. Then I moved over to, what is the first one I moved over to? I probably moved over to Cinema 4D. Then I used Maya for a bit. Hated it. Then I moved over to Modo, used that for a bit, and then I moved back to Maya because I had to use it for work, and I hated that. And then I looked at Blender before version 2.8, didn't like the interface at all, so I was using Maya for a while, and I can't remember if there's anything else. It was Max, Cinema 4D, Maya, Modo, Blender. I'm sure there's another one that I'm missing, but yeah, I probably used like 5, and after 2.8, when I saw the new interface in Blender, I was just like, yeah, this is the one. It's the easiest to learn, I think, and it's also the most kind of versatile because you don't have to jump back and forth into multiple applications. It's got everything built in, so you can do animation, do your texture, UV editing, sculpting. Yeah, it's got a great sculpting section as well. So you can do like ZBrush type sculpting. Great physics engine. You can do physics with. You can do smoke, you can do fire, you can do liquid. So even in Maya, I used to do like all my liquid simulations in RealFlow, which was a pain because, yeah, now you just do everything in one application, which is pretty nice. But yeah, anyway, what I wanted to say, like if you set your origin correctly, like to the bottom center, like this, it's nice to scale your objects as well. So now if I scale this telescope, you'll see it's gonna stay on the floor. So if you look at this from the side, you can see that it's staying on the floor. It's kind of just scaling. Where if your cursor was in the center, let me just save this. Let's say your cursor was in the middle, it's going to scale like that, which is not nice. So it's always nice to have your origin at the bottom. I kind of try and do that always. Same with this one. I can now scale my rover down, and it's going to stay exactly on the floor. So let's say I want my rover to be that size. I can do that. All right, I think the Shattered Skeleton. Yo, how are you doing? What is up? Good to hear. Yeah, nice relaxing Sunday this side as well. As you can hear by the music, very, very chilled. So we made these two little items during this session. I kind of started an idea for a like a 3D animation that I want to do, just like a passion project, little personal project, like just a basic cartoon, and kind of these are just reference images. So thanks, man, appreciate it. So they're very basic, very basic stuff. It's going to be kind of low poly, kind of cartoon style. I still want to make them a little bit off center, like a little bit janky. I wish I could model. You can, man. You can. Have you ever tried? Do you have Blender installed? That's the main question. Do you have Blender installed? And if not, why not? It's really easy. Let me show you. I'm gonna hide these quickly. Let's just save this, and I'm gonna create a cube. There's a cube, okay. And let's say we want to make a table. Look at this. So you take this face, you move it up. I add a little cutting line like that. Maybe one more there, one more here, one more there. I can take these four faces, I can extrude them. There you have a table. Then I can go and I can take some of these faces at the back and I can extrude them up. There you have a chair. I messed around a little bit, just haven't had the time to really learn. Yeah, that's the one thing. So as you can see, it's super easy. You obviously start with easy stuff. Always start with simple things. Don't try and model a car or something like that the first time. Do a chair, do a table. Freestyle on Blender. Oh, I just always get stuck when I try to freestyle on Blender. When you say freestyle, do you mean like using like just going without using a reference? I always try and kind of just have a reference here on the side. Follow tutorial. Yeah, I think when you get time, go through the course that I sent you, or go through some of it as you obviously get time, and just try and understand the basics of modeling first, like literally how to move things, how to rotate things, how to scale things. Hey Ovard717, how are you doing? So yeah, try and start off really basic and make basic things like a chair, make a table, make things that you have on your desk or with you. Hey, the Shattered Skeleton, thanks so much for the follow, appreciate it. So yeah, always start with just simple things. Maybe I just need more memorization. What happened now? Oh, Overt717, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Yeah, and it's just like there's a little cheat sheet that I want to show you guys quickly. Let me just see if I can pull this up quickly on my desktop. I think I have this on the desktop. No, I don't. So if you Google, let me show you guys quickly, screen capture, Blender shortcuts 2.8. So if you go to images, you get something like that. Okay, wait, let me just make this a little bigger. Yeah, so this is the Blender shortcut cheat sheet. There's a few different versions, but like something like this. It looks crazy, but yeah, it shows you like all the shortcuts that you need. So you can quickly kind of see G is for grab, R is for rotate, S is for scale, modes is tab, so that goes between the things. A is select all. Shift A is add a new object. So yeah, it kind of gives you all the things. F3 is search. So if you want to kind of search anything in Blender, just do F3. So yeah, some really cool. Yeah, I can post a link, definitely. So here we go. Let me just, oops, what am I doing? So I'm pasting this on the Twitch side of things. Wait, I can probably, yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna try and paste it on both YouTube because I'm streaming on both YouTube and Twitch at the moment. So hopefully that's gonna come through. Yeah, there's the link. So yeah, print this out or leave it on your desktop, but better to print it out and stick it up somewhere. Yeah, there's so many tutorials, but always start doing basic things and then kind of move up. Like these two models were really, really easy to model. They're not difficult at all. Not difficult at all. You just start, like I literally start with a cylinder and I kind of bolt it up like that. And then you add like more objects and you kind of join them together. Super fun. So yeah, you guys must let me know if you want a free coupon to my Udemy course. I've got a Udemy course, like an introduction to Blender. It's about 6 hours long and it goes through all the basics, like all the basics of modeling, animation, a little bit of rigging, a little bit of physics simulations, cloth, all of those things. So yeah, I'm happy to share a free coupon with you guys if anyone wants one. Just let me know and I'll send you a message with a link to a free coupon. So yeah, so this is the rover, this is the telescope. Do you guys have any other questions? Because yeah, the thing about modeling is just to start easy, and then kind of work your way up from there. Like every time, try and create something a little bit more advanced, a little bit more tricky. And yeah, watch tutorials, but always try, like a lot of people do the donut tutorial, the famous, what's his name? Andrew Price. I think it's Andrew Price, the Blender guru. So if you Google donut tutorial, you will find that. So that's a very good place to start because it kind of teaches you all the basics. And but I will even say before you do that, kind of just learn the basics of the like navigating Blender and moving, rotating, scaling, and kind of get that out of the way and kind of get used to the shortcuts, like the basic shortcuts. Once you have that, then maybe do the donut tutorial. But yeah, so that's kind of how I did it. Started basic and then kind of just slowly work your way up to more advanced models, which is always cool. So yeah, so this is basically a little short film that I'm starting with, or it might actually be a little series, like very short episodes, like maybe 3-minute episodes, maybe 5 minutes, I'll see. But I wrote the first outline of the first episode, so no script yet, just a little kind of summary. And now I'm just kind of starting to model all the different things that I need for episode 1. And then once I have all that, I will hopefully start with the animation and all of that. But I need there's a lot of things I need. I still need like a little base. It's going to be based on Mars, obviously. And I need a little alien as well. So the rover is not the main character. He's just going to be a prop that the main alien guy is going to kind of use as a pet. And then he's got a little DIY telescope, and he's got a little base, and he's got a little spaceship as well, because there is a section in episode 1 where he's actually going to go to Earth and abduct someone as a pet and bring him back to Mars. So that's kind of the basic idea. I've been trying to bring something from Unity into Blender, and I finally got the model in, but the textures didn't transfer properly. So now I can't even imagine how to figure it out. I just gave up, lol. No, you shouldn't give up. It might actually be something to do with the UVs. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the UV unwrapping part of 3D modeling. Does it bring in, let me ask you this, does it bring in any materials? Are there no materials at all? Or does it show the materials but it's just all messed up? Because that will kind of give me a better idea what the problem is. Because in 3D you need to UV unwrap something. Let me show you a very, very quick example of that. So let's say you have this this model, and if I select all the pieces and if I unwrap this quickly, I'm just going to do a smart unwrap. It's going to break it up in all these little pieces and it's going to lay them flat onto this grid. And that means you can now add 2D textures because you can have a 2D picture behind these flat pieces, and that will basically just tell Blender how to apply a 2D image to a 3D object. So that's UV unwrapping. So it might be that there's a problem with your UVs. Yeah, so what you can probably do is when you export that model from Unity, I haven't really used Unity before, but what you can do is when you export the model, did you do an OBJ or a FBX? So you can either do an OBJ, and then there should be a tick box somewhere that you say include the materials and also include the UVs. OBJ converter. Because you can do FBX as well, eh? You can export FBX and you can import FBX into Blender as well. That's sometimes easier when it comes to models with textures, because that kind of keeps the UVs, usually it keeps the UVs nice, and yeah, it just keeps the UVs. OBJ can keep the UVs, but you will have to specify that. So somewhere in the settings you need to say, please include the UVs, or the materials, or the UVs, or something like that. But I'm sure it's just a UV problem. So yeah, UVs is a bit confusing for a lot of people starting out in 3D, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it's actually, it kind of makes sense. So yeah, I think it might be a UV problem. Definitely. But yeah, okay guys, I don't know if I must carry on. I'm getting more viewers now. Let's do a little...
Master, we have a visitor.
It's always like that when I stream on Twitch. Like the first hour I don't really get any viewers, and then after like the second hour I kind of get a few viewers, and then yeah, third hour I kind of start getting viewers, and then I'm like, I've been modeling for 2-3 hours and I'm kind of tired. But yeah, I just want to go and chill now and go and watch some Netflix or something. You guys watching the whole thing about the UFOs, like the whole Pentagon going to release, disclose all the UFO secrets? I'm kind of obsessed with that at the moment, so I'm watching all these documentaries and things. Yeah, definitely. Long sessions are always better. I sometimes do like 4 hours when I build something out that's a little bit bigger. But these models are they're actually quite easy to make. Okay, this music is a little bit weird. Let's just change this. There we go. A bit more relaxing. When's that going to happen? It's going to happen in June. So basically, I think on the 1st of June, they are going to disclose what they know about UFOs. So everything from like what happened in the 50s or in the 60s up until now, they're going to disclose everything. So I think I think it's going to change a lot of things. I think a lot of people will be surprised to imagine that there are actual freaking beings that's checking us out at the moment. And they're very interested in our military, like the American military, also other countries. Do you think they exist? To be honest, yes. I think so, because why I say that is, if you think about the amount of planets, or let's think about the amount of stars in the universe. It's billions and billions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions. And I just think that there's no way that we can be alone. There's just too many stars and too many planets. So yeah, if you look at animals, if you look at something like an octopus is basically an alien already. So I think I don't think we are alone. I think there are definitely other beings out there, and hopefully we can communicate with them really soon, and hopefully we can learn something from them. Hopefully we can maybe share some technology. I don't know, obviously, or maybe they'll be so much more advanced than us. I don't know. But I think it will be really cool if we can communicate and just get some more information and communicate with them and get some technology. Imagine they show us how to travel without being affected by gravity. Just something simple like that. It will change our lives completely, like instantly. Just traveling on Earth without being affected by gravity. Imagine. It will be amazing. But yeah, let's see what happens. So yeah, it's going to happen in June. I think it's going to be the 1st of June. Do you think there's some kind of trigger for the disclosure? So you mean like the actual why it's happening? So as far as I know, it's actually because of COVID, funny enough, because I'm going to tell you now, like, is this because they know something is coming and they need to prep society? So I don't think it's that. I think the US government last year with COVID, they introduced a new bill. Now, I'm not exactly sure how that all works, but that's what I read. So they introduced a COVID relief bill in America. And for some reason, in that exact bill, they added a section for the Pentagon to disclose any information they have on unfamiliar or UFOs, basically. But they call it like UAP. I think they call it UAPs. What's it called? Something phenomenon. But yeah, so I think it was in that bill, and then it went into law basically, and I think it gave them like 180 days to disclose. And now they released those 3 videos that's all over the internet now. The one of the Navy fighter jets, where they kind of tracked those moving objects, and the one that looks like a tic tac. It looks like a pole basically, and it's just white and it's just hovering in the middle of the ocean and it moves. They've got radar data where that tic tac shaped object moved from 80,000 feet in the air down to like just above the water in 1 second. And that is crazy. Like, they have that on radar, so it can't be like a lens flare or a camera weird blur or something. They have it on radar, so that means something moved from 80,000 feet down to like 100 feet in 1 second, which is insane. Like, we don't have anything that moves like that. But yeah, maybe I must start like a stream on UFOs and just talk about that all day. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. I can't wait until we know more. So yeah, I'm watching a documentary that the History Channel released now, and it's called, let me see what it's called quickly. Let me see if I can quickly find it. Oh yeah, it's called come on, focus. It's on the series. I'm gonna give it the name. Yeah, it's called Unidentified Inside America's UFO Investigation. So there's 8 episodes of season 2, which is really cool. I saw a UFO for real on the early 90s. Did you actually see the UFO? Or that's amazing. Like, that's amazing. Gotta run. Thanks for the tip. Catch you next time. Cool, man. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. The Shattered Skeleton. So yeah, Ovard 717. You mind telling us a bit more? I find it so interesting. Funny thing is, I think when I was little, I think I was about 6 or 7 years old, and I've got this memory of me standing outside my house. I think my parents were busy trying to get the car out, or we were supposed to go somewhere, and I remember this vague memory of me standing outside next to the house, and it was kind of late at night, and I was probably about 6 or 7 years old. So I don't know if it's a dream. It might be a dream, but you know, you get those memories from like when you were little, like suddenly you just get these memories. And I remember standing by the gate next to our house, and I saw a glowing sphere coming down from the sky and hovering like right above our gate. And it was a kind of small sphere, like this big, if I remember correctly. And it had like different colors, and it was kind of spinning, and then it just like went away again. And that's kind of the only memory I have about any UFO stuff. But I was like, as I said, probably maybe 5 years old. I can't remember. And at that exact time, it was kind of normal to me. I didn't really think this is an alien spaceship or something. It was just like, ooh, there's a ball of weird glowing colors, and then it kind of shot away again. And I don't know, maybe I dreamt it, maybe it was real, I don't know. But yeah, it's really, really interesting. So yeah, this is like a little bit of an inspiration of all that. So I kind of wrote the story. And a little spoiler, the alien that I'm gonna make in this, or that I'm gonna model, he's got a spaceship, and I am going to just use the Tic Tac for his spaceship. So it's literally going to be a Tic Tac shape spaceship, white, with no external markings or anything, and that's going to be his spaceship in the series. And yeah, he's going to come to Earth, and he's going to abduct some humans and have some pets. So it's going to be really, really easy to model the spaceship. It's just going to be a Tic Tac, like a pill shape. That's amazing. And they also, in these documentaries, they also talk about like triangle shape ships, like big ships. They're probably like 200 yards or something. I don't know, like 100 meters. And they're in these big triangle shapes, and they're black with like 3 lights underneath. And people report seeing these all over the world, random locations, and they don't make a sound, and they kind of just move really, really slowly. They kind of hover above farms, and also at nuclear facilities like nuclear power stations, power plants, any nuclear weapon facilities. They've seen these things, and they say you can't hear them. They kind of make this deep, like a rumble, and yeah, they kind of just move across the like 100 meters up into the air, and they kind of just hover there and move slowly, and then sometimes they just zip off into space again. And so many different people from all over the world have actually seen those as well. So yeah, it's really interesting, But anyway, guys and girls, they're definitely spying on us. Definitely, I think they're kind of checking out our weapons and see what we can do. Hopefully they're not going to destroy us, and hopefully we're not going to attack them, because imagine if we attack them. That's going to be the worst thing ever, if someone's going to shoot a missile at them. And the funny thing is, in one of the documentaries, they speak about South America and Chile, where they actually tried to shoot one. They shot it with a fighter jet or something, and they just said the bullets literally it was just absorbed by this sphere. Nothing happened, and then it disappeared. But yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to attack them at all. Because if their technology is so far and advanced, imagine they can literally just destroy us in one swoop motion. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, guys and girls, thanks for tuning in today. It was loads of fun chatting to you all. And hopefully I will catch you all next time. I usually stream on Sundays about like this time, about a little bit earlier. It's a war we started. Exactly. If we are going to start that war, I don't see good things. I think we need to quickly try and communicate with them and tell them we come in peace. Please do not kill us. But yeah, let's see what happens in June. I'm super excited. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope you guys learned something. Check me next Sunday again. I'll probably live stream again. I'm planning on starting to stream maybe twice a week, because if I want to do this animation, I can't just do this once a week. I need to get working on this, and I kind of use my live streams to actually do the work, because I don't get time during the week. I just work long hours. So yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot, everybody. Keep well. Have a nice weekend further, what's left of it. Enjoy your Sunday, and I will see you all next time right here. Keep well. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.